So this awesome Spider-Man and Vulture VHS 2-pack has landed in my arms. And while there are some shortcomings with Spidey, Vulture definitely looks great so far. So let's get into the video and get a closer look. Hey, what's up guys? So welcome back to the channel. So today we'll be taking a closer look at the Spider-Man and Vulture VHS 2-pack from Hasbro Marvel Legends. So this features their classic costumes from the Saturday morning cartoons that were so popular in the 90s. Right, so let's take a closer look at the figures and the accessories that they come with. So taking a closer look at the actual packaging, you can see here that is windowless and comes in a cardboard box. The actual packaging has some really great artwork on it, featuring their classic costumes from the 90s, right? So on this side, you get to see Vulture, or the animated version of Vulture and Spider-Man. On the back, you get to see what the actual figures themselves look like, with Spider-Man and Vulture, as well as some additional artwork there and some disclaimers. I really like this left side because this is featuring the VHS sort of look that was so popular again in the 80s and 90s. So it's really good to see that this is reminiscent of that. It really showcases a lot of good artwork here overall. And I really like that they really highlighted the Spider-Man logo from the series because it was the first thing that you saw during the intro and that crazy cool music. So it's really cool overall packaging, and I really like how it turned out overall. So moving on to the actual unboxing. So you can see here, I'm pulling out from the bottom, and that it is, again, it's a windowless box, and it's frustration-free box, which is good. And you can kind of see how the figures are positioned here. So, I'll be sliding these dudes out of the actual box. And what I really like is, again, it's frustration-free. Although the window is good for some characters, and at times, I just like that the fact that it's much easier to pull out versus some other recent characters, right? So you can see here that they're both individually wrapped and packaged, and there's a couple of accessories that sort of just fell out, and they're all individually wrapped as well, right? So taking a look at Spidey, as I kind of get him out of this little box here. He's again wrapped, and this body mold is a little different. I'm not sure if you know, guys, but this is a skinnier version. It's not the same type of mold that they've used in other recent Spider-Man figures, like the Amazing Spider-Man. So it's kind of a little disappointing that they've reverted to a different model. But nevertheless, let's take we'll continue to take a close look at it. You also see there's a peg hole in the back, which is kind of interesting there. Not sure if it should be there in terms of overall design, but it is, so we'll have to work with it, right? Moving on to Vulture here, you can kind of see that his sort of packaging is a little larger, or just a shade, just because it has his wings there as well. So pulling Vulture out of his little protective bag looks awesome, right? I really like how he stands out. The green, the actual like sort of sea blue colors really stand out very well in my opinion. A lot of nice details here. You see the peg holes for the wings, obviously the feet there. Overall, there's a lot of great details and sort of feel to him, which look awesome. Right now, looking at the actual wings here, as I kind of drop them out of the bag, right? It looks like in 4 pieces, right? So you got the 2 short, which is I believe in the back of the biceps, and the 2 longer ones will extend past the arms or hands rather. So we'll take actually a closer look at that later in the video as we kind of put that together. Right. So overall, the initial packaging is good of these figures. Right now, moving on to the actual accessories here. First bag up looks like it is Spider-Man's accessories. Right. So you get his different hand molds. Right. So the closed fist here. You have an open fist or open hand there. Kind of that flat mask or unmasked mask. Right. Again, open left hand. And I really like sort of how these all came out in terms of the actual look and feel, right? Now, moving next to Vulture's accessories here, I believe, as I kind of pull this out here, you can see that it comes with 3 accessories in total outside of the wings. So you have the fist or the closed fist, and you have the older version or older face of Vulture there. Right, which again we'll talk a little more about later in the video. The differences or why it's there. A little background information, and then in terms of the head sculpts for Spider-Man, it does come with 2. Whoops. One is on the left-hand side is Flash Gordon, and on the right-hand side it's actual Peter Parker. Right. So great hair there, great mold, and great look overall so far on the accessories themselves. Now, moving on to Spidey's details and articulation here. Again, it is a different mold from previous Spider-Man that we've seen. You know, taking a look at the actual head rotation there, looks left to right pretty well. Looking up doesn't really move too much. Looking down overall is okay. He does have good sort of extension of his arms to side. Forward, it does look like, yeah, bends pretty well overall forward to back. No real issues there in terms of clicking. Here you can see that the arm bend works at the elbow is okay. Obviously, you have the rotation on the hands, so you can plop them on and off, right? And moving on to sort of the leg area, the knees, they click off pretty well. They don't really they snap pretty tight, but they're I guess because maybe it's new, but nevertheless it's okay. Ankles move well, some decent range of motion there to about 180 degrees. His legs don't extend past this part though. It's kind of like it doesn't really move straight to towards a straight line, 180 degrees. So that's a little disappointing. Good leg rotation there, moving up to about the 90-degree mark, so not too bad. Does have some rotation down the legs as well. Torso crunch here, you can kind of see how far as he goes. It's a little high in my opinion. Probably could be a little lower towards stomach, but it's more on the torso. You're gonna see there's a huge gap here by the upper shoulders and trapezoid area, which is a huge miss. And again, this little peg hole in the back. Then they should have included something if you're gonna leave a peg hole there. To be honest with you, and then you can kind of see that the back, the lower back there, as well as the head motion from his rear is pretty good. You can also see that side-to-side rotation and his spinning of the actual waist area spins pretty well. No real issues there. Again, you can see knee clasp and then the way that the sort of bends works well. And overall, I do kind of like the position of the arms, how it able to move and articulate. Not too much issues except for the legs and sort of trapezoid area, which look kind of strange to me overall. Now, moving on to Vulture, regarding details and articulation here, I really like, again, a lot of the detail points that have been added to Vulture, right? The holster, all of these additional weapons and explosives that it carries around came out very good, in my opinion, right? And just the positioning, the scale of it looks great. I really like, the coloring and all the details that have been added to his suit. Looks perfectly matched to the 90s, right? And also just the hair flow looks great front to back. Coloring looks good, and it's cut up very well, so you can see the top part of his back. Articulation of his head is pretty good, right? Looking down, looking up, side to side here, no real issues, right? Moving his arms kind of into a T position, it kind of gets stuck here, as you can see, and doesn't really move past. Now, what's happening is it's because of this shoulder gap here, or shoulder pad, so we kind of have to just move it. And then you can sort of get that full range of motion front to back, more side to side, right? So that shoulder area is kind of restrictive, but nevertheless, it allows the figure, once you move it, it allows the figure to rotate more. So not too bad, right? So you get the bend in his elbows, rotation in his arms as well. There, the hands moving pretty well, so you can exchange to the closed fist without any issues that I see. There is a little bend on the right arm, right? It doesn't look like it bends all the way towards his waist. It kind of still plops out a little bit. So you have to take a look at that again more closely. Knee bends is pretty good. Bends a little easier than Spidey. Less clicking as well, which is good. You can see here toe moves up and down at the ankle area pretty well, no restriction. There's no rotation in the lower half. 90 degrees though looks pretty good and doesn't really get stuck under it, which is good. And you can see again, just kind of like the split, kind of like Spider-Man, doesn't really split all the way, which is okay, especially he's not really a athletic dude, so it's okay. Here's the torso crunch here, gives you a good bend forward. You can see what it looks like from the back here. So nice little details, not really popping out. And you can see from the lower hamstring area as well. It gives you a lot of good clean rotation. And overall, just a lot of decent articulation with Vulture, just missing a few things, especially with the shoulder. Now moving on to Vulture's wings and the attachment of the wings. You can see here again, it comes with 4 pieces, 2 longer, 2 short. right? Obviously one for each side. So we'll go ahead and take the shorter one here. We'll position it and connect it to the back of his triceps, and the long one here on the back side of his forearms, right? And as you kind of rotate his elbow upwards, you can see it creates that nice gap and flow to the actual wings, right? Again, here back left bicep, connect the short one, and then back of the forearm, you connect the long one. And then again, if you bend at the elbow, it gives you a little more space to play with in terms of the actual wings. And overall, again, the details of the wings looks great, fits well, scales well with Vulture here, and it looks like you can put them in a lot of different poses, and the wings don't actually fall off, which is good, and really stick within those peg holes, right? And you can see here, rotation-wise, I can bring his arms up forward and kind of create like a bird sort of pose here. But again, there's a lot better poses, especially like the one you see in the box, you can do and proclaim out of him. But overall, the look and feel and the easeability is good of connecting the wings. Now, moving on to accessories here, we'll start off with Spideys that come with I'm broken up into different bags. Here you can see this is his mask, or his mask unmasked, that he's able to hold in his hand, which is really cool. So he can walk around with his mask off that matches one of his head sculpts, right? Here's his closed fist, right? Right and left. So not much detail there outside being closed fist, which is good for your more dynamic and action poses if you want to have him in those situations. And the other two here are his open hands, right? It kind of looks like a heart, but it's meant to obviously be used with poses that you can grip things and hold things, right? So yeah, two pairs of extra hand molds there, which is good. Here's Peter Parker's maskless head. This will look good in terms of posing him with the mask off, right? Really like the hair details here and how it looks like it's combed through very well. The brown and the coloring of his hair and his blue eyes came out pretty good. And this is Flash Gordon, guys. So Flash Gordon is a nice little sort of tidbit to the 90s costumes where Flash Gordon pretended to be Spider-Man in one of the episodes. So here you can see, again, nice, really clean hair molds in terms of the actual lines and the cuts. His face looks great. Looks exactly like it's been taken out of the series, right? So awesome look there. Now moving on to Vulture's accessory, he only comes with one extra pair of hand molds, so it's the closed fist, right? Whereas the other one's already open that you have, by default and stock with the figure, right? So it looks good overall there. Not much detail. And this is Adrian Toome's older head sculpt, right? So in the comics, he's actually, or in the series, he's actually an older dude, but does experiments to make him younger. So this is his alternate older head. Looks great overall. Really like the mask and how it flows into his face. You got a nice look of the wrinkles there. His eyes look great, lips, everything, and a nice little bald head on it. Looks great. So overall, great line of accessories that Hasbro been able to give us with this kit. So there you have it, folks. Thanks for joining me today as we took an unboxing and review look at Spider-Man and Vulture from the Spider-Man VHS box set. Let me in the comments if you plan on picking this up. It is available for $49.99 with multiple retailers online and has been shipping this week. So it's pretty easy to get your hands on it overall. And generally speaking, I really like this box set. Everything screams nostalgia to me and nice memory of the 90s cartoon, especially for Vulture. Spider-Man does have a couple of shortcomings overall, but generally speaking, it's a great set to own. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button for more content on the coolest superhero collectibles around. Until next time, folks, keep on collecting.